There she is, gang. Right, I'm going to change cameras, mics, get more comfortable, and then we'll do the proper walk around. Let's go. And there she is, gang. There she is. The all new, very shiny 2021 Suzuki Hayabusa Gen 3 water cracker. So this one today then, guys, colour wise, we've got it in, and they're long names, the glass sparkle black with candy burnt gold. And yeah, very shiny, very bling in the sunshine. The other option you can go for, and I'm going to be putting these up on the screen as we go, is the metallic matte sword silver with candy daring red, which is also very pretty. I think of the two, I don't know, I think I probably prefer the black with the gold bling, but you know, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Right, let's have a look at these wheels and tyres then. So, you've got 17s front and back, and rubber wise, these are wrapped with Bridgestone Battle Axe Hypersport S22s, which if you've seen the channel before, I mentioned them, they are very, very good. Get them warm and they are very sticky and, you know, give you tons of confidence for cornering. They are absolutely wicked. So general riding and high speed, very, very nice. Moving on then to the brake system. At the front here, we've got this very lovely brand new styled black Brembo Stylema 4-piston caliper. At the back, which we'll do a cut to in a second, is a Nissan caliper. Braking power is very, very good. So at the front, these are combined with twin rotor 320mm drilled discs or ventilated discs, and at the back, again, you see it in the cut anyway, it's a 250mm disc at the back there. Of course, you've got ABS on the bike as well, and a whole host of electronics, which I'll come on to in a second. Right, coming around to the front of the bike then, lighting wise, you've got all LED lighting, and that's front and back. This is kind of a traditional Suzuki look at the front, I guess. It's very GSX-R 1000, but of course it is a GSX 1300 that we've got here, albeit an absolutely monstrous 1340cc. But yeah, I would say it looks really good. So you've obviously got projector beam, full LED, and I think you've got a bit of cornering lighting as well on the side there, but those are your indicators. They used to be at the top on the old GSX-Rs, but yeah, very, very nice. Suspension wise, these are very, very sexy. It's KYB set up all the way through, so front and back, and they are fully adjustable as well. Not that I'm going to play with them today, but the initial couple of minute ride over was very, very comfortable. But obviously in a minute we're going to go for a proper ride, and I'll show you what she's all about. Right, engine wise then, so this is the absolutely monstrous 1340cc, and Suzuki say it's had over 500 updates, this bike, for the Gen 3 version. And yes, I know she's a tiny bit down on power and torque, but she makes 187 horsepower and it's 150 newton meters of torque. But Suzuki say that it's now got more usable torque through the mid-range. A lot of people say, you know, unless you've got a dyno in your head, you're probably not going to know the difference. At the end of the day, this bike does 186 miles an hour, so it ain't slow. So in terms of kind of upgrades then, engine-wise, it's been kind of redesigned. Pretty much all of it is new, including forged pistons as well. So yeah, although this one doesn't have a supercharger or turbo strap to it, if you're going to be tuning, and there is a massive tuning cult following for this bike, you know, you've got forged pistons, which is a great way to begin with. So I mentioned that it's Euro 5, and yes, you know, it's got absolutely monstrous cans, and yes, you've got cats in the interior of the system now, and I'll do some cuts to it. You've also got cats in these bad boys as well, kind of midway through. Just show you from the back, very traditional Suzuki styling. But you know what, they make a really good sound, and obviously I'll let you be the judge of that. We take it for a ride in a minute, but you get a really good induction roar up here. Obviously you've got the Suzuki Ram Air, but those exhausts are not too bad. But let's be honest, if I'm going to buy the bike, it's the very first thing I'm going to change on it, the very first thing. In fact, on that subject of changing it, Groombridge, the garage that very kindly lent me this bike, they're going to be getting in some Yoshis in the very near future for this exact bike. So stay tuned, because we're going to do a video on that for you. Just continuing from the back there then, so of course you've got the exhaust, there's your LED lighting at the rear. And round the side here then, yeah, I mean, it's all kind of tucked away under fairings, etc. But obviously it's chain drive, 6 speed. You do have now slipper clutch on here as well, and quick shifter up and down. So in that side of it, mechanically, it's got all the gadgets you probably want. Of course, I mentioned you've got ABS. So yeah, very, very nice. I'm sure you're going to be using some of them from time to time. Right then, so lovely Hayabusa logo on the seat there. So the seat is obviously quite generous, it's quite wide, it is low, it's 800mm. Of course, there's going to be a massive aftermarket range of things you can get for this bike, no doubt, but it is very comfortable on initial ride, and we'll do a proper test on the main ride in a second. Lovely bit of livery there, and obviously the tank, all Suzuki livery there, very, very sexy. Right, I've done some pictures as we go, but coming onto the main switchgear then, it's quite a simple layout, but I think the beauty of this system in the very short time that I've had it, and we'll test it more on the ride, is in its simplicity. It works really, really well. You don't have a ton of buttons to press. So you've obviously got your horn, indicators, pass, full beam, and here's where you can do your cruise control, which this bike has, and go for your modes. I'm going to run through that with you in a second on here though. On this side then, obviously you've got your throttle, brake, start, stop, kill switch. There you've got your speed limiter, which is cool, and there you've got your hazard lights as well if you need to use them. And they do come on if you do, very sudden braking, harsh braking, just so you know. Right then, let's do the startup logo for you. So here's the dash. It's obviously more of a evolution than revolution on here. It's very Hayabusa still, but I think that's what they wanted to do. I would say there's massive cult following for this bike, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So when you turn it on, you do though get that new TFT in the middle there illuminate. Hayabusa logo startup, and it's very, very cool. But you've got the mixture here of the analog dials and the TFT. Now the TFT though, it doesn't kind of blow your mind with a million things that it does, but that's what I like about it, in fairness. Now I've got it in the statistics mode here, so of course if I do things like pulling the brake lever, if I just tuck that in there, does the same for the rear brake as well, throttle, all the rest of it. In fact, just a tiny bit, there you go, you can see it. So everything is pretty much controlled from this one button mode, okay? So if I press that, I can then go through the different rider modes, and there's 3 main rider modes, A, B and C, and then you've got 3 more custom versions of that. I'm going to stick it in A for now because that's the kind of full power mode. B is obviously balanced, and C is a bit more kind of comfort, and yeah, probably less throttle response on there. But all you need to do is go up or down on here, and that's how you're going to change them. Now, what I discovered, if I hold down on this button here, that then changes the menu here, okay? So this is where you can go into display, click that one with the 1 mode button, and then all the way to the bottom again. Obviously you can change things like heel hold and brightness, all the rest of it in there. If we go back out for now, so here's the screen that it had when I first got the bike. So again, if I push that mode button there, I can go through them, and it changes traction control, throttle response, all that kind of thing as you go through. But if you push the mode button one more time, it will go around. So here is where you can change it individually yourself, and traction control as well. So here is where you've got 10 different settings, I think. I'm going to put that all the way back down to 1. Now, of course, this bike being, 2021, this has a 6-axis IMU, so it is linked with the ABS and obviously all the sensors in the bike. So it works with traction control, the throttle, it's cornering sensitive as well for all of those systems. And again, because you can kind of tweak it and make it your own, you'll definitely be able to find a setting that you like. Like I said, I've ridden this bike for 2 minutes down the road, so we can do a proper ride in a second, and we'll really go through it and let you know what I think. Right then, gang, that was your walk around done. Let's take her for a proper ride. Let's go. In fact, what I'm going to do, let's just do a quick sound check for you. Nice. See what I mean? It's got more character than some Euro 5 exhausts. Just give it a little bit. Wow. See, that's nice, right? That induction though. Right, that's enough of that. Revving a stationary bike. Let's take her for a ride. Woo, baby. Right, so for the reference, in case people ask, I am 6'4", and having footrest where they are, going back on a proper sporty bike, it's actually quite comfortable for me. Right, I'm going to change that mode back actually before we get going. So hold down on that one, click on display, active data, that's what it was. Oh, there you go, you can do a shortcut and exit. Right, okay, cool. So now if I tap the rear brake, look in the bottom right, rear brake, front brake, top right, I think, throttle, don't know, top left? No, bottom left. And the other one I think might be traction. Don't know, hopefully we're not going to see whatever the other one is. We've got all the bits we need. So yeah, awesome dash, really, really cool. We got a full tank. Let's go. Hayabusa, baby. It's days like this, right? Days like this. You got to enjoy them. Oh yeah, and I'm going to enjoy this. It's just, oh. The A mode is very responsive. It's very like on or off, you know. So let's start with that throttle then, hey chaps. So it is ride by wire, and of course in the settings I've kind of shown you there, you can adjust everything to kind of suit basically. I guess we've got it in its yeah, pretty much give me what you got Busa mode. But yeah, cornering wise, or handling wise so far then, for a bike which weighs, was it 264 kg in this iteration, I wouldn't say it's light, but it's certainly playful. You know, when you compare it to a proper super sport, yeah, of course they're going to be a lot lighter. I don't think this bike needs to be. You know, it's got a longer wheelbase than a lot of super sports. It corners like it's on rails already, and we're going to put it through some proper cornering, I can assure you. That's why we're going on a different route. But yeah, very, very planted. It's just smooth. You can just tell that this is a proper super bike for the road, I would say. A proper super bike for the road. Oh, that engine though. Whew. She sounds lovely. Proper muscly engine. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do like things like the ZH2 with the supercharger. I'm still very much toying with that at the moment. And yeah, admittedly, when I first found out about the new Gen 3 Hayabusa being a bit down on power and it didn't have any kind of supercharger turbo-ness to it, I probably was a little bit let down, because, you know, I kind of thought this was their time to do something a little bit different. Okay, I guess it's me kind of preaching a little bit, but you and I all know, we all know that petrol engines are not going to be a thing for the future. We've got them for a limited time potentially, and I think it was their chance to really come back with a bang and come up with something really different. Do I think it needs it in the real world? No, I'm not saying that it does, and I'm definitely not saying this is a slow bike, because obviously it's not. I just think maybe to stand out from the crowd with the Gen 3 they could have done something just a wee bit different, because she's obviously not the lightest in class. We know she's not the most powerful in class, and looks are subjective. I think she's a good looking bike, but maybe not the best looking in class, but I think she's very, very nice. Very, very nice. Again, it's all going to be personal, right? So if they'd come back and said, look, we've done, you know, something really incredible here to really get the attention of the crowds, maybe put some proper carbon bits onto it, or, you know, reduce the weight significantly somehow, or yeah, some kind of forced induction would have been pretty awesome, right? But, you know, what they've done is they've used something which, you know, in terms of a blueprint works very, very well. And yeah, of course, if they had put forced induction on it and lots of carbon bits, the bike wouldn't be priced at 16.5 grand. Because you've only got to look at things like, you know, Kawasaki H2, H2R, look how much they cost. Would you want to spend that much on a Hayabusa, I guess you've got to ask yourself. Probably not. But then again, who knows? What I would say in this engine, and this bike, this iteration, you've got, you know, as I say, forged pistons on it. We know the engine is bulletproof, and they've made loads and loads of adjustments to it as well. So you've got yourself a very good platform, because I would imagine probably, well guys, 90% of the people that buy this bike are probably going to change the exhaust straight away. You know, they might sign the order to get the bike and they're ordering the exhaust the same day. So you can drop quite a few kg, I reckon, almost straight away. I reckon we could probably knock off, what do you reckon, 6 at least, 7 kg by taking those 2 cans off. At least, I would think. And if you did go for a full system, yeah, you could probably get to more like 10-12 kg, but yeah, one of the first mods. But I guess where I'm going with it is you can do a ton of stuff to this bike and still come out at, you know, under 20k. That's what I would say. You can go for the Aquacans, by the way, but if you go for those, it's like £2,800 or something silly like that. There's probably better ways to do it where you'll get, I would say, a better sound for a lower price. But, you know, each their own. You've got options for sure. But initial feeling then of the ergo, shall we say, yeah, of course, it's very different to a sports tour, which is what I'm used to. It's definitely not as extreme as something like a GSX R1000, and I've had one of those, or an R1 for that matter, I've had one of those. But it's definitely not a sports tour, so I wouldn't say my wrists have got a lot of weight on them, because weirdly, because you're so wide, you can use your knees a little bit to kind of brace, I would say. So it's actually a very comfortable riding position. My knees being a tall guy, yeah, it's very different to a Super Sport again. They're going to be a lot more cramped, but they would be, because you know, this is a bike that you can proper go for it in terms of cornering and, you know, get your knee down with ease. But yeah, gearbox wise then, you know, before we go into a bit of decent speed and cornering down here, 6-speed gearbox, you've got the slipper clutch there, you've got quick shifter up and down. The gearbox has been revised, so it is new for the 2021 model. And you know, so far, limited ride, but we're going to test it properly in a minute. Very, very nice. Very, very nice indeed. Very mechanical. I'm interested to see what that quick shift is about. Well, I've heard very good things about it. Something else you've got on that display in the middle there, you've got your lean angles, and it actually keeps a record of them. So as you go further over, and you see, they start to actually go up and down, and it'll keep a record of how far you've gone over. I'm not going to be playing the game how far we can go today, but you know, we'll see. Something else to mention about that system in the front there as well, it actually does have a memory. So with some bikes, and I know this from like my old GSXR, if you've changed the settings, you go back to the bike, you know, same day or next day, obviously they're gone. But this one remembers it, so of course you've got to remember that as well, because if you put it in your custom insanity mode and you wanted to go out for a casual poodle, you need to remember that, yeah, she's set to kill. Just to get so boring out of the way before we get to national speed limits down here, tank wise you've got 20 litres. I reckon your effective range, and it's going to be massively dependent on your throttle wrist, but anywhere from 150 to, I guess, even up to 200 if you're doing longer runs and using cruise, but maybe somewhere in the middle is going to be like 180 from a tank. And they probably will get a bit better as you bed them in as well. But yes, it's very, very comfortable. A lot less weight on the wrist than I thought, actually. And that's because they've kind of brought them back by 12 mil, so I think maybe that's helped with the ergos, I guess. They used to be a tiny bit more stretched out. Wow, man. She is a ripper. We're barely even getting into the top RPM, because we do. It's crazy territory. Woohoo! The feel from the brakes is lovely. I'm only giving it a little bit of a tap on the rear brake, but yeah, they are immense. In fact, it's probably a good time for a bit of a brake test. Whoa, okay, yeah, they're really good. And that was, again, not even going for it. Shall we? Oh my goodness! Wow! That's just like rocket ship acceleration. That is an unrelenting surge of torque, I can tell you. And again, I'm not even giving it the full beans. My goodness. Yeah, this is one of those bikes where if you're taking it out for the weekends, you are going to have to be a little bit careful, my friends. Using the clutch, yeah, really smooth. It's very light, this actually. You obviously got adjustment on there as well. But even though we're quite low down, I have to say the speed is actually very deceiving because it is so effortless. You know, you don't need forced induction now. I get it. You do not need forced induction. This has got all the power you could probably think of. Effortless bags of torque in the mid-range. Absolutely effortless. And the fueling is so good. See how she behaves at extra low RPM. Second gear, yeah, really lovely. Right, we've got national speed limit coming up, so I'm going to give it a bit more beans. And we've got some nice corners, hopefully. So hold on, boys and girls. Oh, a lovely induction. I love it. It's angry. That's a lovely little growl. Oh man, through the corners, yeah, she is super planted. Do you need any kind of ridiculous active suspension chippery on this bike? Nope. She's gorgeous. Wow, man. Yeah, I mean, look, without going absolutely bonkers, it's hard to really show you just how capable she is. But let me assure you, she's very good. But she's certainly a lot more user-friendly to ride than I thought, and I really like the way it works, actually. I was probably one of its biggest critics when I was talking to the guys about this bike. I was like, yeah, I don't know, they could have done a bit more with the dash. But now, having ridden it for a while, yeah, you don't really need it. It's not that kind of bike, it just isn't. I mean, let's be honest, you're not going to get any hard luggage for it. You might get some soft luggage for it. Are you going to use it as a proper tourer? I doubt it. You know, I really doubt it. People have actually. I have seen a video on YouTube and someone's doing off-road on this bike, and I mean this bike, so yeah, there are people out there who might use it, but for the most part, it's just not that kind of bike. So, do you need sat-nav? No. Is it essential? No. You know, if you're going out with your mates anyway, probably one of them's got it. Follow them. The chap. So the dash has everything that you need, it really does. I definitely feel like you'd need some miles to really get used to what this bike can do. But she is lovely. Quick shifter. Really good. Clutch is lovely. Oh! Good God, man! Wow! And the way she puts down the power, goodness me! Dodgy bit of road there. Oh my God! Hey chap. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Yeah, no, this is terribly slow, guys. I don't think you'd like it. Oh man. What an absolute ledge. One thing I would do if I was going to get this bike, yeah, you know it, like a double bubble, because the chunk that I am, I can't really tuck in, not behind that. I'd have to be about 10 stone lighter. I don't fold that way. Right, let's go. shifter's nice. So yeah, so far from me guys, let's just kind of do a bit of a summary then. Power is outrageous, exhilarating, thrilling, breathtaking, bonkers, but I love it. It's absolutely awesome. Handling is exceptional. She is so well planted. Tons of grip. As yet, without wringing its neck, the front hasn't come up. But of course you can change all that if you want to as well. And you can even turn off all of the rider aids if you're brave, and some say that is the best way to ride her. But yeah, handling's absolutely spot on. Ergo's really, really good. I mean, even for a big lump like me, I'm very, very comfortable. It's one of those where, you know, if you had the garage space and you had unlimited funds, would I get this bike? Yeah, I probably would actually. I probably would. I haven't owned a Hayabusa before, but I would really enjoy this because it's just, I'm not saying it's basic, stay with me, it's just the simplicity of what it is. It is that ultimate kind of sports bike, I guess, you know. It's well priced as well. It's obviously not cheap, but it's well priced. They haven't taken a mick with it. You've got a ton of very much state-of-the-art electronics. You've got the whole suite really. You've got really good brakes in the Stylema ones, absolutely awesome. The Brembo setup, really, really good. Listen at the back, like I mentioned. KYB forks and suspension. Yeah, she's an absolute beaut. And the engine, right? And the engine. Right then guys, it's probably a good time to wrap things up. I hope you enjoyed this one. I did. It was an absolute hoot. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, and massive thank you to Grimmage Motorcycles for lending me this bike. You guys are awesome, and you know, love making videos for you, and can't wait to do another one very, very soon. Reviewers, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Any questions, let me know in the comment section. Give it a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, stay safe, have fun, and I'll see you on the next one.